It's always exhausting. What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome. Mic check. Mic check. And we always got to check the microphone. I remember going in on the whole conversation and was on mute the whole time. Anybody? Can everybody hear me? Everybody hear me okay? You throw up a thumbs up. Thumbs up in the chat. Thumbs up in the chat. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás, Jody? All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. This is Nathan Daly. As you know, I'm your law enforcement translator, and we are doing something different tonight. You guys, listen, sometimes when I make content, it's usually things that I'm actually like really well informed and excited to talk about. And then sometimes there's content, you guys, that comes out, and mainly I'm just a spectator, and I really enjoy learning, wanting to learn more about. So tonight is going to be a little different. You guys, I've been gone for a while. I've been busy working, consulting, traveling. I had a birthday on March 3rd, and I had to celebrate my father's birthday. So, excuse me. So I've been all over the place. My father turned 80 this year, and so we had a joint birthday. Our birthdays are right next to each other. I'm the 3rd, he's the 9th. And got a chance to go back home, visit some family, and came back working. A lot to do, a lot to talk about. A lot's been going on, and I lost my voice. So excuse me, I'll be clearing my throat. But I had to talk about this, you guys. This incident came up earlier this afternoon, and I've been watching this war unfold with Russia and Ukraine. And there's been a lot of things going on, you guys, and so I want to get your thoughts. Damn. I want to get your thoughts. Absolutely have to get your thoughts on this. I'm curious to know what you guys think, and then also where you fall on what's actually taking place, and kind of, is this the next World War III? A lot of people are saying yes. Some people are saying no. Why am I watching it? You guys, we should be paying attention to these things. Unfortunately, there's a lot of distractions in the media, and there's a lot of things going on behind our backs, under our nose. If you're not paying attention, you see the thumbnail. What are we talking about? Ukraine, Russia, Vladimir Putin they issued a warrant for his arrest, right? They issued a warrant for his arrest, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. For those who are not familiar with war crimes, the little war council, these different international organizations, what they mean, what they're trying to do. I'm going to share my thoughts. I'm going to give you my opinion. I'm really curious to know what you guys think. Again, this is something that I'm always paying attention to, a little bit outside of the content that I normally make, but it's a current event issue. And so I think it's perfect for us to talk about and really just kind of see what you guys' thoughts are just in general. Because honestly, I'm thinking that we are on the brink of World War III, right? What does that look like? What does that mean for this country? Can we afford it? Of course not. Do we have the manpower, soldiers to do it? Absolutely not. And a lot of people are like, nah, I don't see World War III happening. I don't see none of that. I don't blah, 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 blah. Listen, you guys, for those who studied history, it takes one incident for things to crack off. One incident. And before you know it, guess what? Right? Doesn't take much. Absolutely doesn't take much. And so I think that the news and the media is distracting. But while I was minding my business today, this came up, right? And I said, yeah, I definitely would love to talk about this. At first I was going to make a video, but then I was like, I want to have a discussion. I'm curious to know what everybody thinks about this topic. And so we are going to get into it. And real quick, you guys, I've also, there's been a lot going on, a lot of working in the background. Some things will come up as time goes on. So as people are coming in, listen, I've been given the opportunity, the blessing to speak on a panel of amazing people talking about police reform, police solutions within the Black community. Guys, if you're not familiar, I will drop a link to this. As a matter of fact, let me do it right now. Please go to this website and check this out. I will be at the Black Agenda Movement. For those who are not familiar, this is what it looks like. Please go and check it out. I will drop a link in the chat to the website. The moderators could please post it throughout the stream. I will be speaking and discussing police issues and solutions, police solutions, right? We always talk about all the problems or how bad policing is and the relationship with policing and things of that nature. I will be speaking at this event, discussing, taking questions. It'll be a panel full of amazing speakers, some activists, some political, some medical advice. I'll be giving a lot of information. You guys, please go and check out the website. You will not be disappointed. This event is being put on by the great Michi X. For those who are familiar, she's come to this channel and has blessed this stream plenty of times, and she's hosting it, and it's going to be amazing. So please go and check it out, you guys, and then let me know, right? If you're in the Atlanta area, please get your tickets, show up, come and support. You won't be disappointed. More and more times we need to start having conversations about solutions. I think we're always talking about the problems and no one's ever coming up with the solutions. And so I have plenty, I promise you, I have plenty solutions if we can only go ahead and start implementing them, right? So please check out the website, the Black Agenda Movement. You will not be disappointed, all right? And so I'll pull it up again later on in the show. We'll talk more about it. Shout out to Millennial Market, said, I'm going to arrest him, all right? Listen, Vladimir Putin, you guys say what you want about him. The man is, in so many ways, a dictator, right? Like, if you really just want to call it what it is, the guy is running the show over there. Nothing to play with. Obviously, he sparked up this war with Ukraine. He claims he has justified reason. Is there any reason for war, right? Current day, right? Do we really need to be taking over more land? Some people need to just learn how to sit still. All right. So nonetheless, there's always something mischievous going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. That goes without saying. We can't, unfortunately, we don't have all the information. For all we know, our country is setting this whole thing up, making it look like Russia's the bad guy, right? Who knows, right? So at the end of the day, what we can do is just look at what we see. Unfortunately, war brings destruction, it brings death, and there's nothing pretty about it. And at the same time, when people are losing their lives, there's people making money, right? So at the same time, so we know there's a lot that goes into this war. Is America going to be dragged into it? Absolutely. We've already been dragged into it, right? We've sent billions of dollars over to Ukraine already. And a lot of people have a lot to say about that. Of course, we have a lot of issues. We have a lot of issues in this country alone. We always seem to be putting on the cape and going over to countries and trying to play superhero when this country has a lot of problems all to its own. So what we're going to talk about tonight is we're going to talk about this warrant. We're going to talk about this warrant. Is it even valid? Listen, at the end of the day, Russia's like, I don't even acknowledge this court. The U.S. doesn't even acknowledge this court. So a lot of this kind of like throwing their weight around, trying to say they're going to issue a warrant out for Putin. Listen, nobody is going to arrest Putin. Let's just be real. It's not going to happen. But I want to share with you guys what they're talking about his I guess the reasons for the warrant. This is reference to a war crime. They're saying he's committed a war crime. For those who are not familiar, pretty much what a war crime is the way they look at it is like a crime that's committed during war that has to do with the inhumane treatment of people, which is weird because war within itself, people are getting hurt, getting killed, right? But a war crime is when it's inhumane treatment, whether it's kidnapping, mass genocide, right? Things of that nature. And so that's actually pretty much what they're saying. They're saying that he has allegedly has been kidnapping or taking kids in mass numbers from Ukraine and then taking them to Russia, which in so many ways would be human trafficking. Listen, you guys, at the end of the day, I know better than everybody else. If you don't know, our media is a propaganda machine. They will say anything to the betterment of themselves, right? Like there's always an agenda. There's always an agenda. And it's unfortunate. Sometimes you feel like you can't even trust what the media tells us. So you always have to just be very mindful of that. So again, you would be surprised if this was all even orchestrated and created just to kind of get us hyped up and involved, to hate Russia, to kind of co-sign on some more war relief or some more war effort or some war campaign or whatever they might be doing in our wonderful government. One thing I will say though, before I get in some of these videos, is that, as you know, the other day, they put out a video, the U.S. put out, or the media put out a video about a U.S. drone that got pissed on by a Russian jet, right? So again, there's still that. So there's all these little things that are building up, building up, building up, building up, building up for what, right? Building up for what? So again, we always have to ask ourselves, they'll never show us stuff in the media that would be in our best interest as a people, right? Like I've always said that. They'll never give us something that's in our best interest, meaning they're not going to be honest. I've seen so much play out in the media. There's things that I've myself had intimate knowledge of certain things that I knew was a lie and the media had put out. We've seen a lot of this during like the Trump era is what I call it. There was a lot of misinformation, a lot of lies. I watch these things play out all the time. The media is dangerous, you guys. It's dangerous. And I think if you're not aware of that, then as soon as you hear something that's put out on the media, you automatically just gravitate to it. And then you fall victim to the lie, right? The media is dangerous. And I would have to wager that probably 80% of what's put out is probably grossly inaccurate, or has the majority of it is all agenda-based, propaganda-based, in order to manipulate and warp the minds of the citizens. Unfortunately, I would say our government has they are experts in the idea of psychological warfare, if that makes sense, right? On its own people. So what does that mean? Does that mean that they're prepping us for World War III? The reason why I say that too is because the whole conversation is about children, right? Everything is about children. Russia's doing this to the kids. Something that would really spark and get the acceptance of the American people to want to get behind any type of effort to go over there and start kicking over tables, right? Anything. Because what I notice about, unfortunately, what I notice about this country is that, and this is just us having a discussion, you guys, right? This is just us having a discussion. Again, I'm curious to know what you think. What are my thoughts? My thing is, what I've noticed in the past is that the government will make an effort to win over the opinions of the citizens before they do what they intended to do, right? They use media to, in so many ways, get you to agree with what they plan on doing anyways. But they know initially you don't want to do it, right? So the media and the government gaslights the citizens to wanting to do exactly what they intended to do in the first place. That's why we later find out 10 years, 15 years later, they're like, oh, there were no weapons of mass destruction. Oh, there wasn't this. Oh, that person disappeared and all. And you find out later on, but then the job's already been done, right? We see this with Osama bin Laden. We see this with, of course, the whole spill with weapons of mass destruction. We see this with Gaddafi, right? Like this, that, and then you later on finding out the backstory, you're like, hold on, is that what was really going on? This doesn't seem right. So now I feel like we're repeating ourselves again, right? I feel like now we're coming back again to this whole thing now, and I'm starting to see a trend, right? I'm starting to see a trend. I don't know what they have planned. I don't. And I think this is the purpose of the stream is like, let's have a discussion. I'm really curious. What's really going on? Right? What's really going on? When you start reading the fine print and stop listening to the headlines, then the truth starts to unveil itself. It's the same thing when they're handing out these shots not too long ago. And they're like, hey, the government wants to send want to send checks overseas to help with what do they call it? The stick, right? You're getting the stick. And then you start reading all the fine print about how like they're breaking down where this money's going in these bills that they're passing. And then you're looking at it and you're like, hold on, what is gender studies? Like, what does this have to do with the shot? Right? Why are you sending all this money? You guys are unfortunately our government's deceptive, right? Like, let's be real. I think the people are the country. The government is just something entirely different. They're their own entity of it's the people. At the end of the day, the people want something better. Right? So here we are. Here we are. A country where it's supposed to be we the people. But that's what the government makes you believe. And at the end of the day, the people gave all their rights away to the government. And now the government put themselves in a position where the people still believe they have power. And in fact, we really don't. Right? We really don't. So, anyways, so let me play this video because this is the video that I saw this afternoon. I was like, oh wow, we might be what's going on. This is interesting. So this gentleman, he actually sparked this off. He gave a breakdown in reference to, hey, this is what's going on as of today. At this time, we have issued a warrant for the arrest of Vladimir Putin. All right, that's cute. So I want to play this video if you guys haven't seen that, and then we're going to go into what the charges are. I'll break it down, and I'm going to get your thoughts on it. This is what they are saying, and we'll go from there. Let me see. Pull this up. You guys, I am a history junkie. I love this type of stuff. So bear with me. All right, let's make sure everybody can. Yeah, you should be able to hear it. I think you should be able to hear it. All right.
Today, 17th of March 2023, the International Criminal Court has issued 2 warrants of arrest in the Ukraine situation. For Vladimir Putin, President of the Russian Federation, and for Maria Lvova-Belova, Commissioner of the Russian President for Children's Rights, for the alleged war crimes of deportation of children from Ukrainian occupied territories into the Russian Federation. It is forbidden by international law for occupying powers to transfer civilians from the territory they live in to other territories. Children enjoy special protection under the Geneva Convention. This is an important moment in the process of justice before the ICC. The judges have reviewed the information and evidence submitted by the prosecutor and determined that there are credible allegations against these persons for the alleged crimes. The ICC is doing its part of work. As a court of law, the judges issued arrest warrants. The execution depends on international cooperation.
All right. So what is he saying? Let me just he said a whole lot of nothing. Let's be completely clear. This gentleman speaks about the ICC, right? Which is the hold on, let me pull this one up next so I can read this. Share this tab. Okay. So this gentleman, he's talking. He is a representative of the ICC, which is the International, was it Criminal Court? Yeah, the International Criminal Court. You guys, basically, it's a court with no enforceable power, right? It's a group of people who got together, right, under the treaties of I think it's the what treaty is it that they're under? Let me, because I'm gonna have to read this verbatim. These guys got together. It's an international group of countries that came together and say, "Hey, listen, we're going to represent. We're going to call ourselves the ICC, International Criminal Court. When things happen in different countries that are in violation of the Geneva Convention, violation of any type of humanitarian laws or rights that they believe everybody is destined to have or should have, ordained to have." We're going to speak out and say something about it, right? They did the research, they did their investigation, and to them, they're saying that what Russia violated was a human rights violation, right? They transported, they kidnapped in so many ways. They've human trafficked kids from Ukraine and then brought them over to Russia. And they're saying, okay, they violated this to the 10th degree. This is unacceptable. And so we are a court. We're going to issue an arrest warrant. And at the end of his statement, he says, basically, we can't do nothing about it. So we hope that the international community will do something about it. So basically, what it sounds like is they put a bounty on Vladimir Putin's head. That's how I look at it. Why do I say that? Because the ICC has no military might. They have no power. They are a court with no strength. They are a court that's issuing a bunch of wolf tickets, right? I don't even know why they even came out and made a video. They can't enforce anything. So what they say is we want to lean on the international community to do something. I.e., hey, countries who have the ability or the power to arrest Putin, but who are you? And what's interesting is the ICC, which is funny, is the United States is not even a part of it, or I would say they don't even acknowledge their rulings. So I don't really understand what this is all about. To me, it just seems like a part of the propaganda scheme that's going to build into, I guess you would say, like the bigger picture. But what is the bigger picture, you guys? Again, I have a feeling they're winding us up, right? They're winding us up for the ultimate propaganda play. Why does this matter from the ICC? They can't enforce anything. They can't. They just issued a warrant that means nothing. And Russia responded, and Russia's like, listen, these guys are clowns. It's a kangaroo court. We don't even acknowledge that they're even relevant. And that's kind of where we are with this. But I think what's more interesting is the allegations that they made in reference to this entire situation. Here the allegation says on the 22nd of February, they submitted an application, pretrial chamber of the International Criminal Court, for warrants of arrest in the context of the situation of the Ukraine. And the two people that are listed on the warrants is Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, Miss Maria Lvova-Belova, commissioner for Children's Rights Office, president of the president of Russian Federation. Here's the evidence that they have. On the basis of evidence collected, analyzed by my office pursuant to the independent investigation, the pretrial chamber has confirmed that there are reasonable grounds to believe that President Putin, Ms. Lvova-Belova, bear criminal responsibility for unlawful deportation and transfer of Ukrainian children from occupied areas of Ukraine to the Russian Federation, which to them is a violation. You guys, okay? What if Russia comes back and is like, yeah, we're saving the kids because the country's been destroyed since we're destroying the country, right? Like, I don't know, but this is what they're saying, that this is unacceptable and a violation. My office alleges these acts, amongst others, demonstrate intentions to permanently remove these children from their own country. At the time of these deportations, Ukraine children were protected persons under the Fourth Geneva Convention. What this court is hoping is that they can inspire a country or the UN, United Nations, to step up and arrest Vladimir Putin. Who's going to go to Russia and arrest Vladimir Putin? Who has the gonads? What country has the gonads to do it? You guys, nobody's going to do it. Nobody's going to do it. And I think that's the sad thing about it is that why are you issuing out a warrant to Putin? Why? Why? War crimes. So here are the four things, right? The ICC, they examine four types of crimes on an international level. One, genocide, right? Two, crimes against humanity. Three, any breach of the Geneva Convention. And then three, any crimes of aggression. You know, when I learned about this court, I was kind of thrown off because at the end of the day, I'm just like, what is the point of this court? If they have no army, if they have no way to exercise the laws that they are citing, you guys, it's pointless. You know, everyone made a big deal about this when it hit the air. And I'm like, if that's the case, if it's that easy to just strike a warrant, you know how many people over here in this country probably need to get picked up, right? Even though this ICC just started not too long ago, it's fairly new, but man, come on, this is a joke, you know. And again, I don't think America's going to do anything about it. Why, you guys? If you don't remember, we literally just exchanged one of the biggest Russian war criminals for a female basketball player. So I mean, you know, I don't remember the guy's name, right? But he was like this guy was like the Tony Stark of Russia, right? I think they called him like the arms dealer of death or something like that, the weapons dealer of death. And we exchanged him for a basketball player, you know, Brittany Griner. So, anyways, I just think it's a joke. I think it's a huge joke. And this was a waste of time. It's a waste of time. But why'd they do it? Why'd they do it? I think they're setting the stage. I think they want to get the U.S. emotionally involved in this war, you know. And once I heard that it was him shipping kids around, I was like, oh, okay. All right, here we go. Propaganda begins. You guys, and you know, with all the stuff going on with Ukraine and all that, I think it's only a matter of time before other countries get involved. And then all it takes is just one trigger. When I look back at World War I, look back at World War II, I look at all these countries fighting and then how the US get involved, right? It only took one incident. One incident. Absolutely one. Shout out to Bryson. He said, yeah, listen, Trump would have been kicking billions of dollars over Ukraine. I know that for a fact. A fact. This president we got now throwing so much money and everywhere else but in this country. I don't know what yeah, man, this stuff gets nasty. Listen, I'm the type of person, I like to do my own research to understand what's actually going on. And to be honest with you, again, this looks like it's going to be a setup. I'm really curious to know what Putin says about this. I mean, I read what he said. He said this was a joke, right? He said it's a joke, and they don't acknowledge this court. But you know, I think there's a lot more to come. But let me hold on. I want to make sure I have the right one. This is. I want to play with what the news is talking about right here because I think this is interesting. This is their breakdown as to what's going on and what they're saying in reference to the ICC. And CNN is reporting on it. I thought this was going to be a good one to watch so you can hear what they are saying in reference to what Putin is doing. And again, why does the US need to know about it? Right? Why do we need to know about it? We have more than enough problems over here, to be quite honest. Who is this a problem for? The United Nations needs to get involved. Like that's what we have them for, right? Like that's how I personally feel. Let them go and handle those things. I do truly feel like they are trying to gaslight this country, and I believe the U.S. has something tricky up their sleeve, and they're going to convince the American people that they need to get involved. Like that's exactly what's going to mark what I'm saying. I'm promise you, this is like clockwork. It just happens consistently, and this is what I truly believe. So let me put this lady up. I want to hear what she has to say. She got it.
Moments ago, we're just now learning that the ICC, the International Criminal Court, has issued an arrest warrant against Vladimir Putin and another Russian official. Both are at the center of an alleged scheme to forcibly deport thousands of Ukrainian children to Russia. This is a topic that we've been talking about so much on this show. Let me get back to Ivan Watson. He's back in here. He's joining me now with more on this. Ivan, what are you hearing about this?
Well, I mean, all right, listen, before they get started, let me tell you what I see when I see this, you guys. I see what I see and what I hear from all this. I hear them trying to dramatize it, right? Look how she said it. Now, they're not going to tell you that this court has no power. They're not going to tell you that this court really doesn't mean much of anything. They're not even going to tell you who's going to exercise this warrant on Vladimir Putin. Putin has done a lot of stuff. No one has had the gall to go over there and talk to him about it, right? So again, listen how they kind of put this whole thing together. I think it's so interesting, and it makes me laugh because I know exactly what they're doing.
I mean, the headline here is that the International Criminal Court has issued an arrest warrant for the president of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin. They've also issued an arrest warrant for a second Russian official that I don't think people will recognize her name. Her name is Maria Lvova-Belova, and she is the Commissioner for Children's Rights in the office of the president of the Russian Federation. In this statement, the ICC is basically accusing the two of them of being complicit in the alleged abduction of Ukrainian children from territory in Ukraine occupied by the Russian military and taking them to Russian territory. Now, Russia has been very public about saying that it has taken Ukrainian children to Russia, has basically played up the adoption of some of these children and basically claiming that they're rescuing these kids. The ICC clearly views this very differently, saying that this is illegal what it's doing, and has taken, I think, a very precedent-breaking step of, again, issuing an arrest warrant against Vladimir Putin himself, against one of his top officials, accusing them of kidnapping Ukrainian children, basically since the start of the Russian invasion of Ukraine last year.
And you know, Ivan, I had the former ambassador at large for war crimes issues, Stephen Rapp, on earlier this week. And this is one of the issues that we were talking about. And he said he was just in Lviv speaking to a child who was able to be returned from Russia only because their family member went to extreme lengths in order to try to find them after they say that this allegedly happened to this child. And the thing is, it's pretty hard right now to even know the scope of how many children have been taken, kidnapped, abducted, and taken to Russia. The United States has put the number at somewhere saying at least 6,000, but I have heard Ukrainian officials put it at north of 16,000.
You know how many kids? Listen, you know how many kids go missing in the United States? You know how many kids are kidnapped in the United States annually? This is what I'm saying. Like, it's weird how we like to report on these things that have nothing, not to say that we shouldn't be concerned about what goes on internationally, but I would love for our media to put the same energy and effort into solving our own problems in this country, our own issues, bringing light to our own issues. You have some of the top elites in this country snatching kids up left and right for their satanic purposes. And yet the media, as complicit as they always are in these things, they don't say anything about it. This is why I find this stuff to be such a joke. A warrant for Putin. I think one of the biggest challenges, though, overall, just looking at this, it's one of those things where it's easier to try to shed light on someone else's drama than to kind of face the mirror inward and say, look how horrible we're running this country. Look how we've destroyed this country. Look how the morals have declined, decayed. I mean, this country within itself needs repair, right? And it's not perfect. It's not a perfect country because we have wicked people running it. It's not that the people in the country don't want it better. It's that the people who are making decisions aren't doing their jobs properly, right? They've been bought out, sold out, and have corporate interests in their mind or in their pocket. Anyways, I just thought that was funny how she's talking about, 6,000 kids. It's like 6,000 kids go missing in the United States a month, and so we have a problem here that needs to be addressed. I just think this is completely funny. And it made me laugh when I heard her say that on the inside. And not only that, listen, when it comes to human trafficking in general, you're talking about millions of kids go missing. I would like for people to make a stronger effort on that piece, right? So, like someone said, black on black crime.
Yeah, and it just this is part of the terrible and bloody fog of war. I mean, you have entire cities that had populations of hundreds of thousands of people that have been smashed, reduced to rubble, children orphaned, and probably bodies that have yet to be found of some of the civilian casualties as a result of this catastrophic invasion. So one of the remarkable, I don't know, one of the things that's going on behind the scenes as the two armies are killing each other on the front lines day after day is that you have prosecutors, you have investigators on the ground also gathering information as the battles are taking place, trying to build cases basically against the Russian military of alleged war crimes on the ground here. The alleged abduction of thousands of Ukrainian children, that is but one piece of this. It is the one that the ICC has focused on the most. So I would guess that they see that there is a cut and dry kind of
when someone is talking a lot of BS, right? Like, I think one thing that I've noticed about people and just kind of just the human characteristics of communication, right? How we communicate. When you are full of crap, right? When you are trying to reach and grab for straws, you sound like this guy right here. You sound like this guy who's reaching. He's reaching really hard to try to convince you that there's something more going on than what it actually is. It's bullshit. Right? He's struggling, you guys. He's struggling to this is propaganda at its finest, when you really just got to try your best to try to figure out, like, it's not true, right? There's something going on in this whole thing about this incident that sounds very, very not accurate. One thing I've noticed too about Putin, when they come after him and they allege that he's done something, he never hesitates to get on the media and have a rebuttal. He always has a rebuttal, you guys. For those who actually pay attention to what's going on, he always has a rebuttal. It's so interesting. It's like he just doesn't let you talk trash and then think you're gonna, like, in my opinion, it seems like they misrepresent him a lot in the media. And he comes back, if you go to like a Russian news network and listen to what they have to say, he's on there like, BS. He said, this is BS. This is what we're doing. The response is, okay, no, we're taking these kids and we're treating them, caring for them because, obviously there's a crisis in Ukraine due to the war. And so we're helping these kids out now, right? But I really, really like how he's really trying to figure out the words to say, because I think this right here, you can tell the difference between someone who knows what they're talking about and someone who's just kind of trying to maintain the narrative. Trying to maintain the narrative. I love the comments on here. People are cracking me up. Shout out to you, Anthony Davis, with the super chat. So member of the channel. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. $10 super chat. I think, here's the nuts and bolts, right, of the whole thing. What's the end game? This court has no actual power at all. You guys are really pushing and promoting this because you want to put out a narrative. And here we are listening to it, thinking that, okay, well, he's in so many ways you got to say alleged because you don't really know. But the idea now is that he's forcibly removing kids and taking them to Russia. And Russia's saying their response is, no, that's not the case, right? That's not what we're doing. What's going to come of this? I'm going to tell you guys what's going to come of this. I think the U.S. is going to try to step in and get involved. Yep. And I think they're going to use this as a way to convince the people. That's my opinion. I don't know. Might be wrong.
International law that is being broken here with the movement of juveniles, of minors across international borders without the permission of the parents. I can also already anticipate some of the response that will be coming from the Kremlin. They will most likely deny that the ICC has any jurisdiction whatsoever over the Russian government, over Vladimir Putin. And it's not just them. I mean, I can recall that the Trump administration publicly saying the ICC has no jurisdiction over the U.S. government. So it's a powerful statement. It's a bold statement, the issuing of this arrest warrant, but it will likely have little effect whatsoever on the day-to-day behavior and policies of Putin himself. It is, though, a strong message to Russia and to the Russian military that people are watching its behavior on the ground here. This is just one case, one very high-profile case that has just been announced. I was just yesterday meeting with a Ukrainian police officer here in charge of hundreds of investigators, and he says most of their work right now is to gather information about alleged Russian war crimes on the ground here. You're hearing air raid sirens over my shoulder. Every time the Russian military fires rockets, cruise missiles, artillery at Ukrainian towns and cities, investigators come in soon after to document that and to prepare cases against the Russian military.
Bullshit. So listen, our media is the most dangerous media on the face of the earth, you guys. The most dangerous media. Shout out to our country that loves to play mind games with its people. I think over the last 5 years, I have truly seen the dangers of media, you guys. I have just sat back and just watched it. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, it's scary. Like, it's frightening. And what makes it frightening is that we live in a country full of people who lack the ability to critically think. Shout out to Chemo. He says, Nathan, the ICC can only arrest him in the ICC member states. They can arrest him. They can't arrest him in Russia. Okay, that's interesting. So he's saying only where they have countries, but from my understanding, the ICC doesn't have a way of enforcing. Like, I don't know, they don't have military might, right? They're literally just a self-appointed court, if that makes sense, right? We call them kangaroo courts, where it's not really enforceable, right? They can say what they want, but who's going to enforce it? I'd have to really look a little bit more into the organization itself. Matter of fact, let's do this. How the court works. We already know the four types of crimes. The four types of crimes: genocide. They can prosecute crimes against humanity. There's 15 forms of crimes against humanity, and under the Rome, what is it called? The Rome Statute. Let me pull this up. Let's just. I'm just curious if this is something that they can actually do. So let's just go back to the top, right? These are how the court works. The court is founding treaty called the Rome Statute, grants the ICC jurisdiction over four main crimes. Again, we said this: genocide. For those, we already know what genocide is. The mass murder of people, to almost to an elimination of said people. The second is crimes against humanity. These are large scale attacks against any civilian population. The 15 forms of crimes against humanity are listed under the Rome Statute include such as murder, rape, imprisonment, enforced disappearance, enslavement, particular women, children for sexual slavery, torture, apartheid, and deportation. Third war crimes are grave breaches of the Geneva Convention, which is context of armed conflict include the use of child soldiers, the killing or torture of persons such as civilians or prisoners of war, intentionally directing attacks against hospitals, historic monuments, buildings dedicated to religion, education, art, science, or charitable purposes, right? So these are violations of the Geneva Convention. So this, like, even during war, there are things that are considered taboo, right? Because the Geneva Convention tells you, hey, you can go to war, but these are things that are unacceptable. We won't allow. We will step in and make sure that these things don't continue. Finally, the fourth crime, falling within ICC jurisdiction, is crime of aggression. It is use of armed force by a state against the sovereignty, integrity, independence of another state. The definition of this crime was adopted through amended the Rome Statute, the First Review Conference statute in Kampala, Uganda in 2010. Crime of aggression is the use of armed force by a state against the sovereignty, integrity, or independence of another state. I mean, that's pretty much all war, right? Like, everybody doesn't want to fight. Legal process. As an international court, the ICC legal process may function differently from that in your national district. Below are a few highlights giving key information. All right, so let's see, because I'm curious to know. They have an investigation stage, pre-trial stage, trial stage, appeals. All right, enforcement and sentences. This is what we want to know. Sentences are served in countries that have agreed to enforce ICC sentences. Okay, so shout out to Chemo. He's right, but what countries? What countries then? Let's see. Sentences served in countries that are. So I'm curious to know what countries participate. Okay, and ICC. I'm curious, you guys. I'm curious. Because this will depend. The state parties to the Rome Statute. This might be it. Okay, 123 countries. All right. So we got something here. So you guys, to see which countries participate in the ICC, see what their jurisdiction is. 100. I want to say it was 100, over 100 countries. Okay. So I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. Republic of Korea, Republic of Moldova, Romania. Okay. Funny, Ukraine's not in here. United Kingdom. So that's it. I mean, it is a lot of countries. Over 123 countries are state parties in the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court. Out of them, 33 are African states, 19 are Asian Pacific states. So I mean, there we go. So it's funny, Ukraine is not even a part of the ICC at all. So that's interesting. That's very interesting. 18 are Eastern Europe, 28 are Latin American, 25 are 28 are from Latin America and Caribbean states, 25 are from Western Europe and other states. I mean, 123 countries. I mean, it's a lot. So I mean, it's definitely, there's a lot of countries that are in agreement with it. And I mean, I think the court is good, but it'd be nice to have some enforcement. So these can only be enforced when you're actually in one of these jurisdictions. Then they have according to this jurisdiction. So this is again why issue a warrant for Vladimir Putin for crimes that you're alleging he committed in the Ukraine. And then, in fact, the Ukraine is not even a part of the ICC. So the Ukraine is not a part of the ICC. You're issuing out a warrant for Putin, who obviously is in Russia. But I would argue that even if Putin went to one of these 123 countries, I don't think anybody would do anything about it. Who would dare do anything about it? And some of these countries, I don't really see a strong military presence to where they'd want to pick a fight with Russia. Like, come on, you guys. Come on. So, I don't know. I think it's interesting. Listen, you guys, I am really curious. My fear, let me just say this. My fear, my concern, my concern is that, again, the media is such a powerful tool. And a lot of times we just kind of just sit there and eat stuff up. We don't ask questions. We don't do research. I'm always skeptical of the media, always skeptical. Even sometimes when I do streams on certain things, I try not to dive too deep because I don't want to throw people off. But you guys, because I've seen so much, I've seen things play out right in front of my eyes. And so it's hard for me to it's hard. Even listening to this guy talk, he's like, oh, every time you hear the siren go off, there's something being bombed and we're documenting. I'm just like, the Western media got caught lying so much, and they've done their best to kind of cover things up, but they've gotten caught lying. And even sometimes, using the CIA to, act out events, have actors and things like that, crisis actors and stuff like that, in order to try to just, push the propaganda. I had a guy who was retired in the military. He was pretty high ranking. We're having a conversation one day, and I think he hinted to the fact that, how powerful propaganda is. And he was like, you can destabilize an entire country off of a media campaign, off of a lie. He said, destabilize. He said, these are tactics we would go. It's the American military now. We would go to other countries and put out propaganda, and it would turn the country upside down. A group of 10 men can literally cripple the infrastructure or the mental or the psychological infrastructure of a country with a lie. It's powerful. Media is powerful. So every time stuff comes out, like, I'm always anxious and curious. He must say, I did look. I did look. I didn't see I did not see Jamaica in here though. That's funny. I did look though. I did look. Hold on. I was looking to see if Jamaica was a part of the ICC, but they're not. The only days in here is Japan and Jordan. So I think that's interesting. I don't know what other, what else they got in here, but yeah, I didn't see anything. They got Japan in here. I think that's pretty dope. Japan's always down for the peace. Let's see. Yeah, Japan's in here. Yeah, I was looking at that. I came past. I was like, nah. So I don't know. I don't know. I think it's always best to be honest. I found it better to look at other news channels outside of the US if you want to get a very well-rounded view. I've been in other countries and I've listened to the news, and it's just miles apart on how they report, what they talk about. A lot of times, where was I at? What country was I in? Where was I? Was I in? I think I was in South America. I was in Peru watching the news, and they walk right up on the crime scene, right? Like you get like a little blurry action, but the news is right there. They're giving you like the raw truth. Nothing seems doctored. Like it's just different. The news is different. Even in Jamaica, same thing. The news is just different, you know. But I think it's interesting though, right? What are you guys' thoughts on this? Are they going to arrest Putin? Is Putin going to jail? Is Putin arrest warrant for Vladimir Putin? Boy, the balls of these people. Could you imagine someone putting out an arrest warrant for Joe Biden? Right? Right? Could you imagine? President Biden warrant for his arrest because, I mean, you name it. Right? So stealing the election, robbing the people of their election. Could you imagine? What would that mean? You have to be able to enforce it. You guys, you just can't say you got a warrant for your arrest and you can't enforce it. You know where I come from? That's called wolf tickets. Selling wolf tickets. And then they get all, then they want to put out this video about, oh, they pissed on a drone that was flying over the ocean, right? A Russian jet came by and dumped fuel on it. Who cares? Who cares? Do you know what would happen if someone recorded 10% of the foolishness that our government does in other countries? You know, one thing that bothers me about this country, love it to death, right? Well, not to death, but I love this country for a couple things. I love the people, the good people in this country, right? I hate the bad people. I dislike the bad people. This country is beautiful because there's beautiful people in it. But this country is horrible because there's horrible people in it, right? That's my take on it. That's my take on it. It's still one of the greatest countries. Now, as far as whether or not this country has the best quality of life, that's something that can be argued. But I think, and this is just my thoughts, right? I'm just thinking. What I don't like about the US is that we play innocent all the time. We play innocent all the time. Oh, Russia they sprayed fuel on our drone. This is unacceptable. This is unprofessional. I watched that, you guys. I almost laughed till I cried. It was so funny. And I was just like, look at these guys. Want to be saints. Sinners playing saints. You know. Sinners playing saints. You know, so I don't know. You guys. Listen, I just had to get that off my chest. I thought this whole thing was hilarious. When I saw it, I was cracking up. Arrest Vladimir Putin. You guys are a joke. Leave that man alone before you come over here poking us, and we're unprepared. You know, people, we brag. We got some good equipment over here. I ain't gonna lie. Military got some good equipment, but we don't got the manpower, man. Military stressed thin. You know, and this country is just going through it with identity crises. People we got our own issues we need to fix. We got a problem with the president. I mean, there's just so much. We got so much. We can't afford to be in nobody's war right now. We gotta get our strength up for real. And we're too divided. So we need to mind our business. Use some of these billions of dollars because we got this inflation problem, right? It's actually a really big problem. Banks are closing and collapsing right before our eyes, right? We're focusing on things like I don't know, the metaverse is like a thing now. I mean, come on, like our kids are changing genders and people are just confused all over the place. Welcome to America. Welcome, America. You know, we're not in a position, man, to be fighting anybody. We're not in a position to be complaining, in my personal opinion. So, OG said we already in this war. Yeah, we've been funding it. We've been funding it. When he sent over $1 billion something to Ukraine, I was just like, it's over with. It's over with. It's a joke, man. We need better leadership. Absolutely need better leadership. At the end of the day, that's the biggest problem. Our leadership is horrible in this country, and they're constantly selling out the American people for $1. You know, absolutely. Traitors in the White House is what I call them. We got some traitors in the White House. But yeah, I don't know. Any thoughts, you guys? Any thoughts? Any thoughts? Any thoughts? Any thoughts at all? Time is it? 1 hour? Cool. I'll drop the link if anybody wants to add 3 cents in before I jump off. You guys, listen, I like to, I'm a spectator of this type of stuff. I really, really enjoy kind of seeing how things evolve. You know, one thing I will say, as you travel, for those who are well-traveled, you see the world differently. You know, when you come back to the US, you start seeing the games that are being played. And it's not good. It's not cool, you know, because you see the potential of this country and you see it being just completely eviscerated by the corruption, by the wickedness of people in high places. And it's very unfortunate, you know, because at the end of the day, it's the people that end up suffering. So we'll see. We'll see how this pans out. It was at 150 billion. How much money was it that he get to Ukraine? Let me look real quick, guys. This whole thing pisses me off. How much money to Ukraine? This whole thing is just a scam. How much aid has the U.S. sent to Ukraine? Jesus Christ. How much? All right, let's take a look. What side are we on? What is this according to? Let me see. Let me make sure before. This source is Anteza Ukraine Support Tracker. Okay. So the aid is primarily been provided through appropriation bills. The chart only covers aid to Ukraine, and so does not include all U.S. spending related to the war. I think that's very important. So let's see what they're looking at here. So how much aid has the U.S. sent? Let me blow this up. All right. A total of $76 billion damn dollars. 76 billion. Oh my God. Humanitarian, 3.9 billion, 5%. Whew, Lord. Hey, black folks, there go your reparations over in Ukraine. Over in Ukraine. You know, when America says they don't have the money, they be lying. They lie so much. Financial, $26.4 billion. Security assistance, 18.3 billion. Weapons and equipment, 23.5 billion. Grants, loans for weapons and equipment, 4.7 billion. Total military investment, $4.6 billion, which is 60% total military. Meaning, guess what? Somebody over there, some great arms dealer is making a fortune. Some arms dealer is making a fortune off of this. Again, anytime there's a war, there's always a beneficiary. Wow. So, I mean, you guys, but look at all the problems we have in our country right now. They never seem to find a way to muster up any type of money to fix our own issues. Right now, Biden is going back and forth about student loan forgiveness. Well, hell, you sent all the money overseas. And they sent more money over to when they were doing the COVID relief packages to different countries. And then they snuck all type of secret experiments under there. Man, this is a joke, you guys. This is a joke. This is a joke. And that's why when they drop a news conference about issuing a warrant on Putin, I laugh. I laugh. You know who we need to issue a warrant for crimes against the people? The U.S. government. The president. Man, this is embarrassing. It's embarrassing. What could the United States do right now with $76 billion? What could we do with this country? $76 billion. What could we do? It means we've been hiding that money this whole time. All of a sudden, we got the money? With inflation and all kind, man, come on. You still got places in Mississippi and Michigan where the water will kill you if you drink it. This is the United States. We're advertised as a first world country, but we have third world problems. Homicide through the roof. Gun violence through the roof. Imprisonment through the roof. Incarceration through the roof. Like health problems through the roof. Corruption through the roof. We have the same type of corruption as a third world country. I don't know. Just my thoughts. Just my thoughts. Homelessness through the roof. Lack of education. Man. Anyways, those are my thoughts. Who is gonna get Putin? Nobody. 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 A waste of time. I don't know why they put that out. They're a joke. Listen, you guys, if you haven't already, please follow me on these platforms. I would appreciate it. Instagram, TikTok. TikTok has been loving me lately. I've been dropping a couple stuff on there. It's been a slow increase, but I finally hit 10K on TikTok. So I guess that's a good thing. You guys, I don't know. I think outside the world falling apart, this country is absolutely going in the canister. And I don't know if there's a way for us to get out of it. good people are going to have to stand up and address these bad people. Listen, you guys, also, for those who've gotten in late, please go to the website, the Black Agenda Movement. I will be speaking at this event. It's a 2-day conference. I'll be there talking about police issues, police solutions, police reform, and how we can, or discussing ways to repair the relationship with law enforcement and the citizens they serve, especially within the Black community. So please go and check that out. And please go to the website, theblackagendamovement.com. If you are in the Atlanta area, please go and check it out. You guys, I will be there, obviously. And we'll be having a good time. A lot to talk about, a lot of great speakers. I believe we do have some special guests. Tamir Rice's mother, I think Amir Locke's mother will also be there. A lot of great keynote speakers as well that will be there. It's going to be a powerhouse conversation. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be intense. So please check it out. Any questions before we get off, you guys? Any thoughts? Listen, I am myself personally, I am a participant in this as we watch this country fall apart. I am sitting eating popcorn, angry, just like the rest of you, right? So when we have conversations like this, it's really just to kind of like, I get a chance to vent. I told myself I'm going to use my channel to vent more often. Normally we're talking about certain things, but this is a chance for me to be like, you guys, listen, this sucks. This absolutely sucks. Check out the website below, you guys, the dates for the event. Where do we go from here? I tell you what, though, if we don't unite and stop with all this, color that, I promise you we're easy pickings moving forward. That's just how I look at it. We're easy pickings. And we'll continue to let the government structure destroy the people on the inside, and then we'll be easy targets for the outside. That's how I look at this whole thing unfolding. There's been too much intentional divide and conquer on an internal level that I believe that's by design. I truly believe it's by design. So the sooner we start loving each other again, you guys, I think we'll be a strong group of people. I don't know. Any thoughts? Any final words? Anybody? Anything? If not, I'm gonna bounce out of here. Relax for the rest of the night. Listen, we're gonna tomorrow though. I think tomorrow I'm gonna talk about the Jussie Smollett situation. The two brothers who helped him create that hoax came out and they did this whole thing. So I definitely want to talk about that. We got to go over these clowns and just the power of the dollar, man, to make these idiots do anything out here. And I really want to talk a lot about it because, again, it goes back to we use racism, how easy we fall into that trap of like everything's racist. MAGA hats, they got to be out here against, they hate black folks and they're we're just so easily manipulated, man. So easily. And that's what I love most about that incident, is that it just showed and proved to us that we believe anything. If it fits our narrative, our false narrative, we'll believe it. It gotta be true because he was white wearing a MAGA hat. So he definitely was definitely being a racist, and it turned out to be two black guys from Nigeria who staged the whole incident, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. They also got prison for that. But we'll talk about it. Anyways, you guys, that's it. I just wanted to get in, kick the dust off. It's been a little minute since I jumped on. Wanted to kind of just express my thoughts on this. This thing is a joke. Be prepared for more BS to hit the news. Mind you, mark this day that I told you that the BS is about to hit the fan. There's going to be a whole bunch of drama and trying to convince us that we need to kick some tables over. You guys, we can't afford it. We can't afford it, and this country is in no position to be outside this country trying to solve other people's problems. We always get involved in stuff we got no business getting involved in. And we got plenty of issues right here in this country that needs to be addressed. As I just showed you, this Biden guy, President Biden, bless his heart, he's given away $76 billion to Ukraine. You guys, you would think that we're the only country that has money, right? What other countries are giving money away to Ukraine? Like I think that's let me just check, right? Let me see. Google's our friend. Because there's no way we gave 76 billion. Like who else? Most aid. Let me see chart. Blah 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 blah. This is just as this. All right. Oh, perfect. All right, check this out. Listen, this is ridiculous, man. Now, I'm not saying we don't help. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, but not at the expense of your own country. You know, when you're on the airplane, right, and the stewardess are giving you the commands and telling you about how to do this, how to do that. What do they say about your mask, right? They tell the parent that you put your mask on first before you put the mask on your child. I remember asking my mom about this because it never made sense to me as a kid. I said, why not put my mask on first if stuff's smoking and things are going bad? The whole idea is that if you're not in a position to help yourself, you cannot help nobody else. Our country is in no position to be giving away $76 billion to any country. Any country. You know, it's ridiculous. And it's always been like that. For as long as I can remember, it's always been like that. All right. Jeez, this is wild. All right, check this out, you guys. Check this out. You can't make this up. Andrea said the only country that takes its citizens to the cleaners. Boy, they didn't wash this out. We don't listen. It's so bad. I mean, look at the inflation is so bad in this country. You guys, I went to go get groceries yesterday. I spent almost $300, and it's just me. It's just me. So I mean, come on. I already know people out here hurting. You know, I already know. You know, I'm like, I might have to stack up on the peanut butter. You know, so listen, I love that we support. I love charity. I love giving. I love supporting. I'm not saying by any means, I don't want anybody to get it twisted. I'm not saying that you don't support, that you don't help. There's no reason why, if you look at the chart, this is ridiculous, right? Why do I say this? You guys, this is our tax dollars. I didn't agree to this. Look at this right here. The United States, $76 billion. Look at all the other countries. Look at all the other countries who gave money. Look at this. Whew. Come on. It's almost like the United States was in a race with Europe, right? Like, we can't let them beat us out. Come on. Come on. This is crazy. This is crazy. I don't like this, right? And I think this is, again, who's our leadership? Who's our leadership? One could argue, would Trump have allowed this? Right? I don't know, but I highly doubt it. Right? I highly doubt it. Love him, like him, hate him. This would not have happened. This would not have happened. So I don't know. I think this is crazy. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Yikes. A lot of money that we've spent, contrary to other countries that didn't spend anything as much. Anyways, just my thoughts. So there you have it. What could have our country done with $76 billion, you guys? A lot. We could have done a lot. We could have done a lot. A lot of families need help, need support. It'd be beautiful. What if one day the government, you know what I'd do if I was president? What I would do is, in an event like this, when we're having inflation, there's a financial crisis, I would say, hey, you guys, this year, if you make under X amount or whatever dollars, if you make under 100,000, you don't have to pay any taxes, right? You get to keep your money this year. We got $76 billion. It's embarrassing. So, anyways, that's my thoughts. Yeah, you're right. It's not a country, it's a business, actually. This whole place is a business. They run it like a business. That's why this country's falling apart, because they don't care about its people. They care about what the people can produce. They care about what the people can produce. And I think I agree. Trump was a good president. Now, he may have lacked decorum. He may have lacked some professionalism, but the man was on point with a lot of stuff that he said and a lot of stuff that he was doing. I'll just listen. You don't have to. I'm the type of person, I don't have to like you. I just need you to do your job. And if you're doing your job and you're doing it well, cool. But boy, the media was on that man. Boy, that media was on him. And I watched the media sit there and make lies too about him. And I'm also curious how this thing is going to turn out here in Atlanta with that call to Raffensperger, and all that stuff that was going on. But because I listened to the whole tape, and I think their allegations on what Trump did was BS. But we'll see how that unfolds as time comes up. But I don't know. And again, you guys, I'm in Georgia. So when the election, all that stuff was popping off, I know what was going on down here. So I know people who have reported crimes that their name, that someone had voted for them, right? That their entire household, right, were voted out already for Biden, and that's not who they're voting for. I know people who have taken officers who have taken reports of people who were saying that dead relatives were used and things of that nature, and all kind of stuff. Like, so there's some truth to the allegations Trump was making. A lot of truth, actually. But boy, that media, right? That's what I was saying earlier. The power of the media, man, is dangerous, man. The last 5 years, I have never seen the media like that. Or maybe I wasn't mature enough to understand, but boy, when you really sit down and pay attention, or when you know things, like you really, really know things, and you see what they present, oh my God, it's scary. Because then I talk to people and they're like, brainwashed. But I think regardless, to Ray's point, them presidents lied to us. They all get rich. I mean, the thing is, both sides lie, right? But it seems like one side is trying to destroy the country, like for real. Like really, one side seems like they're sabotaging the people. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's both sides you have, it's a different type of corruption, right? One's based on greed and personal interest, blah, 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 here and there. And one seems like they're trying to destroy the fabric of this nation from top to bottom, based on the things that they're doing. I don't know why, but that's just how I look at it. Like, I think regardless, I don't trust either side per se. I'm more of an independent. I kind of look at what a person's doing that benefits the country as a whole. Because if you benefit the country as a whole, then of course you benefit me as an individual. And then what are the things that I stand for principle-wise and values and things of that nature that you are pushing towards. I can get behind that because I know what your job is supposed to be. I'm not so selfish to say, well, I don't like the way he talks about this issue, so I'm not going to vote for him. I'm like, man, is he handling these tax situations? Where's the money going? How is this trickling back down and affecting me on a local level or even on a mass level? And then of course, right, like I really pay attention to those things, but all that extra stuff, no, I don't like the way he said that. And he was rude, and I'm like, man, whatever. I agree. Trump was not a politician. That's why I voted for him. Yeah, the way he was manhandling them in those debates. Woo-hoo. He was like, I know what y'all do with the money because I used to give you the money. He said, I paid for you. I paid your campaign. Trump told everybody he played both sides. He's like, I gave you money. I know what y'all did with the money. Y'all are some swamp creatures. Listen, he got my vote. And then I watched him steal that election. Listen, for those who don't know, those who know, right? For those who know. Nasty game, man, these politics, nasty game. Anyways, that's it for tonight, you guys. Any final thoughts? Shout out to you, Kimberly. Looks like a new face in the chat. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like any politician. I think I just want people to do what you say. Whatever you say you're gonna do, you need to do it. I don't like the false promises. I don't like the pandering. I don't like the identity politics. You know, something the left is like an expert at. So yeah. And I think that's why Trump fit well with this country, because this country's a business and he ran it like a business. He was talking to people like it was a business too, right? He was talking to people like it was a business. I think that was the other funny part. A lot of people didn't like that. Oh, I don't like the way he said that. I'm like, shut up. Chinese virus, right? It's like, oh, that's racist. I'm like, how? How? It's like everything he did was, they called him a racist about. Like, I was like, you guys are a joke. He's a racist, and how is he a racist because he said Chinese virus? When y'all spent the whole damn couple years talking about the West Nile virus, no one ever said that was racist. Like, come on. Come on. So it's like little stuff like that. You guys, listen, I've watched it closely. I've watched the news closely when Trump was at his peak and this country was at the peak. And because I trade stocks. So when that man got up there and started talking, the stocks would jump. And so I'd always be right here watching on the computer and watching the news and waiting to see what he had to say. And then the next day, I would look at the media and listen to how they take the headlines and twist the words that he said. And I'm like, hold on, I just watched that yesterday. He never said that. And so I don't play with the media, man. I don't play with the media. So, anywho, yeah, I don't play with the media, you guys. They are dangerous. Anyways, you guys, listen, like, comment, share, subscribe, share the info, share the channel. And stay tuned. We're gonna do a video on the Jesse Smollett update, which is hilarious. So stay tuned for that, you guys. What was I gonna say? I think that's it. Yeah. And that's it. Anyways, guys, hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you probably Sunday or Saturday, maybe tomorrow. Who knows? Have a good night. God bless.